I'm falling, I've lost my way. Lost my way. Lost my way. Lost my way. I'm falling, I've lost my.
Welcome back to another episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, keep up to date with what I'm trying to share with you guys. So today I want to talk about a super controversial topic that's really going on in CrossFit at the moment. As we've seen, heaps has come out. A lot of athletes are testing positive for PEDs, so performance enhancing drugs. Now, it's not just individual athletes, it's also on teams. There's been a fair few athletes who have qualified for the CrossFit Games from the semi-finals, made it to the CrossFit Games, and now they're finding out they have tested positive for PEDs. So we saw Nick Joel, he recently came out and announced to everyone before CrossFit announced it that he had tested positive for PEDs. He admitted to taking performance enhancing drugs. He said he took it for 2 weeks at the start of the season, and then obviously he reckons he weaned off them and they were still in his system. Now, since then, we've actually seen a couple of other athletes who have tested positive as well. One big one who's an individual athlete is Phil Toon. So he qualified out of the Granite Games, I believe. So he has just announced also that he has CrossFit's messaged him and said that he tested positive for performance enhancing drugs. Now, from him, he says that it's because of this hair loss therapy stuff that he's been doing, because he's been diagnosed with early onset myopath baldness, and he was given prescription or prescribed drugs to counteract that. And in these prescribed drugs was the substances that he's tested positive for. Now, obviously he's said that that's still his fault, and anything that an athlete puts into their system needs to be considered or looked into further to see if it has any performance enhancing drugs in it. Now, he did put on his social media that obviously he's been on a script for these, it's been prescribed by doctors and stuff. However, when you're an athlete, if you know that you're going to be at the pinnacle of your sport, and a sport that you might only be in for say 5 years, something like early onset myopath baldness, like, this is just my opinion. I'm not a male, I don't have this issue, okay? It doesn't affect me in that kind of way. However, I feel that if I was in that situation, I would probably just go, okay, well, I'm going to wait until after my CrossFit career is over, see where I go with that first, and then I'll focus on my personal aesthetic things later on in life. And 5 years isn't going to make too much of a difference to doing it now. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that he has grounds to be able to try and stay within, to keep his ticket to the CrossFit Games, or do you think he should be out? Now, he's not the only one who's tested positive. So another individual athlete was Pedro Martins. He also failed a drug test. So he's from the Brazil region. So he was actually becoming a doctor, which is interesting as well. So he's put his medical career on hold to then pursue the CrossFit Games, only to now be popped for banned substances. He said that he doesn't know the source of the substance. However, in saying that, he's not the only Brazilian athlete to test positive. So out of the Brazilian teams, okay, first, second, and fourth place all have had athletes test positive to performance enhancing drugs since the semi-finals. Now, does that go to say that something in the substances, like in, say, the protein powder and stuff that gets made in that country, or the meat samples and products and stuff, are they not as, developed and stuff and tested like they are in Australia, for example? Like, I know that when they sell protein powder and stuff in Australia, it goes through rigorous standards to make sure there isn't anything in the product that could be a banned substance. So coming from a country like Brazil, where there is still a lot of people sitting in that poverty line stuff, are they not so aware of what's inside their food sources, because they don't have access to such high quality products as what we might have over here in Australia? So although these athletes are testing positive, is there a reason behind it if there's so many coming from the one region, or is it because it's more accessible to be able to get these performance enhancing drugs over there? So I know that, like, I've been over to Asia and stuff like that, and you can just go into a pharmacy over in Asia and the stuff is sold behind the counter and you can get it, and it's not hard to get or find in their country. Like, it's just readily accessible for everyone. Whereas here in Australia, you need to know where to get it from, how to get it. It's also illegal. You can't get it really unless you know someone who criminally does it, or someone who actually deals in that stuff, or, you know, can source it for you. So it's a lot harder to get it in Australia than what it might be over in Brazil. So, and then there's also Kuwait's Nasser Al-Ruwaya. Now, he was the runner-up athlete from the Far East Throwdown. He has announced that he also tested positive. Now, his positive tests were for GW1516, also known as Catarine and Endurable. Now, both these actual products, they're legit steroid-based products. They're not a SARM or anything. Endurable is a legit steroid. So he's saying that he doesn't know how it got into his system, but for something like that, like, that's an injectable or a product that you need to take, like, and actually know that you're on it and take a cycle and have to go through all these phases and stuff. So, I mean, I'm not a professional or know much about steroids, but the stuff that you can read and find out is quite easy to find out. And I know that that product is definitely on the steroid banned substance list. It's not like a little tiny micro thing that could be inside another product. It's actually from a steroid based substance. That one will be interesting to see. Comparing it to, say, Phil Toon, who his stuff is actually evidential, coming from, from prescribed products for something else. And then also you've got Nicholas Joyal, who admitted to taking his products. And then you've got all these Brazilian athletes testing positive for these banned substances. Some of them are just basic SARMs and some of them are actual performance enhancing drugs. So is there a lot of controversy going on about CrossFit? Like, why are these athletes feeling the need to have to take performance enhancing drugs to get to the stage where they want to get to? Like, it's not a short road or short fix to be able to get to where they want to be. And surely these athletes must know that they're testing, you know, minimum the top 5 athletes who qualify for the CrossFit Games, who qualify out of the semi-finals. So I know that here in Australia, they tested up to 7th place, maybe even further, maybe up to 10th place. So Reese mentioned after the Touring Pro, we were waiting for him. His girlfriend was staying with us. He mentioned that he'd taken so long to get up here because he had to give a sample for drug testing. Now, he finished 7th, and he said that they kept the top 10 back. So, and then top 10 had to supply samples. Surely these athletes know that there is a very high risk of getting tested and stuff could come up in their samples. So why are they taking the risk? Or, you know, like, understand that some people just want to achieve this so bad that they decide to take that chance. However, you know, I think that after CrossFit's becoming so strict and, you know, rigorous with this testing and making sure that they're trying to break the whole cycle of, you know, they don't want to be that sport where there's abuse of PEDs and stuff, or there's athletes who get through and they're on PEDs, and, you know, they're trying to make a clean sport. And now we've got athletes who, there's just so many this year. There's been about 14 athletes in total who have tested positive for performance enhancing drugs since the semi-finals. So my question is for you guys, why are they doing this? What is going on? So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have any comments or anything, make sure you drop them below. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, keep up to date with what I'm trying to share with you guys. And thanks for tuning in, crew. See you in the next one.